Take number 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, guys, I'm using a new camera, but welcome back to Collecting and Hobbies. Welcome back to a classified series G.I. Joe retro carded 6-inch action figure review. These are Walmart exclusives. If you don't already have that information, um, we're going to do a deep, in depth review here of Lady Jaye. Now, this is technically the second release, more or less, of this exact figure. For more or less, we'll get into that in a minute. But let's go ahead and check out the figure here. Hopefully, this is a much higher resolution than the previous camera I was using. Now, first thing you notice is that. And what I mean by that is it's not exactly the old image from 1985 or that. They style it like it is, but it's really not. Because here's the original image. So I'll look her up in a minute and try to find her full carded image. But I forgot about that. So here's her file card though. But this is the original file card from 1985. And that's not the only difference. It's right here. It's just a small little bit of text, but it's more than we get on the boxed versions because we don't get anything on the boxed versions except for pictures of what level of this or that they are. Whether they're a brawler, hand-to-hand combat, machine guns, jungle troopers, whatever. So it kind of looks like a retro, but it's actually updated quite a bit. 222221. Interesting number. Okay, so we'll go over her file card right now. Her real name is Allison R. Hart Burnett. So maybe she was maybe her mom was divorced, or maybe her mom was Hart, Anna Burnett. She kept her last name, or maybe she's been divorced, and who knows what that means. So Allie Burnett, I guess. Role covert operations, primary specialty intelligence, secondary specialty personnel clerk. Birthplace Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. An accomplished actress and mime, as well as a studied linguist, she can easily pass as a native in many countries around the world. And now back to her original file card. Still same name, but she has a serial number, same military specialties. It says her grade is an E4. So she graduated from Bryn Mawr and did her graduate work at Trinity College in Dublin, where she acquired the faint Gaelic lilt that adorns her speech. Okay, so she has an accent, I guess. An accomplished actress and mime, as well as a studied linguist. She can easily pass as a native in France, Italy, Poland, Russia, Germany, Afghanistan, Spain, and Portugal. So I guess she can talk like the Baroness. Airborne and Ranger qualified, graduated Intelligence School, Fort Hullabird, qualified expert with the M16, M1911A1, and reflex crossbow. Lady Jaye doesn't go in for the phony wig and rubber mask brand of disguise like these jokers on Mission Improbable. Mission Impossible. She becomes the subject. Body language, subtle gesture, correct shading of dialect, the right look in the eye. Cloaked and sandaled, she can squat down with a basket of oranges in any Middle Eastern marketplace and blend in perfectly. The last purchase that I made of a female figure, well, not the last one, but actually at Baroness, but Zarena does a lot of that same stuff. Same as Zartan. So she would fit in just fine with Zartan's dreadlocks if she ever went that direction. All right, so one more look at her file card image here. She's got the old camera. And before we open her up, I'll show you just what the original looked like. All right, and here's a pretty good example of her. $2.79, Toys R Us. Here's her backpack. Here's her camera, her spear, actual figure, and you can send in for a free Sergeant Slaughter action figure with, I don't know, see details inside. I actually did do that too. So anyway, there's her original card art right there. She's got, what is that? The now we're gonna have to look at her other figure here real quick. Here's the original card back, or one of them. So here's the original image from outside the package. And there's the previous figure that came in the blue box version. Alright, so here's our previous figure from the G.I. Joe classified line. So she had a different gun. She had like 9 accessories, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A modernized backpack. These were all based on a video game that they were promoting because they didn't think that G.I. Joe could survive without a video game or a movie. And there's the star hat. More modernized version of the hat. Okay, so now that we've taken a trip back to memory lane, let's take another trip back to memory lane with this girl. All right, so let's see what we got here. You want to open it up as careful as possible. Or maybe you don't. Just depends on what kind of collector you are. If you want to keep the card back, now put it back in its package when you're 60 years old and sell it or whatever. Whatever you're going to do. All right, so we get this little foot stand. It looks like there's no name on it, just the star logo, the G.I. Joe logo, whichever way it's supposed to go, and 2 peg holes. Now this figure, it looks like she has fewer accessories. She doesn't have the extra hair piece. You can have her without her hat, but you can take her hat off, obviously. So you could still do the swap, but you have to have the other figure to do it. So there's Bald Lady J. And here's her hat, which has the original logo on it that the 1985 figure had. Whatever that's supposed to be. Here's her hair. So you put it on her like that. One side of it covers her ear. Okay, let's get the accessories out. All right, so here's the main difference right here. Her backpack doesn't have some kind of fancy sci-fi snake camera on it. It's just a old style 1985 video camera, which she came with the original figure, and her spear, which is gray, just like the original. And might be able to put something on the end of that. Another attachment for her spear. She didn't come with a bunch of spears like the other one did. Here's her backpack. It looks just like the original, but blown up. So there's a picture of her original backpack. And here's the newer one. That's actually in the package. So pretty much the same thing. This one looks a little more realistic, I guess. So pretty true to the original. All right. And finally, she's got this little dagger. And it's actually got paint on it. Her camera does too, though. And this gun, spear gun looking thing. I think this is from her other figure, technically, but in a different color. So you could put this in here. Not sure how far back it's supposed to go. Okay, so this doesn't, or does it? I don't know. Guess not. I don't know what this is for. You would think it goes on here, because I don't see any other place to put it. But it doesn't, literally doesn't do anything. So I don't even know what this is. And look at there's nothing there either. So I don't know what that little attachment is for. I don't know. Let's go over the figure. And then we'll put all our accessories on her. Maybe we'll figure it out then. So this kind of comes off relatively easy. The hat, as you saw, when I pulled out the figure from the package. I had to get this adjusted. Okay. All right, so she still has, this is basically the same figure. It's just colored differently or less paint. There's no dark paint here. It looks more like the original. The Joe Pro thing from the video game isn't as pronounced. It is just all the same piece. Everything here is the same, but she has a different paint job, and that is technically the only difference, is just different paint. And here's her head sculpt. She looks good. I can't say whether I like this one any better or worse than the other one because I don't really have the other one in hand. This is the only one I have. But I prefer the older looks compared to the newer looks. But it's got a lot of articulation. As you can see, her hat comes off very easily. She's got that hinge there in her neck. So you could probably get her to look up, maybe if you can get it to ride that joint. But moving her head around makes her hat come off, but it's kind of a rubber, so it goes on and off relatively easy. And then she has that neck joint that all the other GI Joes also have. Again, if you want it to move, I mean, as you can see, it's moving from side to side. But so you might want to pose her around and put her hat on, because it's probably gonna fall off anyway. She's got the swivel at the bicep, which is cool, because that means she's got the double hinged elbows, which means she can pick her own nose. She can go all the way, like a full 180. And she's got wrist swivel right here. And looks like she's got she should have some kind of articulation. Yeah. She'd go up and down, but it's kind of in the way of the joints, in the way of that wrist. I'm assuming. I don't see any. Yeah, that looks like the hinges right there. Yeah, this one moves a little bit. Trigger finger hand should go up and down. Anyway, so she's got torso joint at the waist. She's also got the ab joint. It's extremely tight. Doesn't want to move at all. Not sure why, but she can crunch and move around. She should be able to kick all the way up. This is a very tight joint. Some of them have really tight joints at the beginning, and it's hard to move them at all. It swivels at the thighs, double jointed knees. The thickness of the leg gets in the way. She's got boot cut, ankle pivot, mostly going back, not really anything forward, and of course ankle rockers. She's also got butterfly joints, if you can see that. So she can go in and out. Butterfly joints really don't help a whole lot, but they're there, so as long as they don't hinder the articulation, that's all that matters. All right, and then she's got her belt. See if we can get everything stuffed away in here. So the only place she could put this knife is obviously right here. So that fits on her. You got her backpack. If you want to put the camera on her, I'm going to do that first. Let's see. Maybe take her wig off. And I'm not really sure. Let's see how you're going to do this. I don't know. I don't know where you're going to put this thing. Just kind of have it around like that or something. You got her backpack. Goes on. So we'll be able to get all of her accessories, it looks like, into her hands. I'm sure she can hold this perfectly fine. It's just a piece of plastic. Just a spear. Nothing special. Like, it's not hard to get into her hands or anything. Then if you want this part on it, stick this in there. I guess it's supposed to go like this. And then she's got a trigger finger on both hands. So that thing really just likes to come off. There we go. And that goes in her hand. And again, don't know what this thing is. There's no... I don't see any real place for it. You could probably, with this being so loose, you could probably just stick it in the gap here. And, or you can just, put it in her hand. Either way. Man, this is hard to do. All these things are just kind of wiggling around and so put it on there in the gap. I really don't know what that is. I thought it was just like a different type of spearhead or something, but it doesn't want to go on there. It's got a hole in it. I think that just goes to her previous version because it did have swappable spearheads. So I guess you have to have the other one to do that. Maybe they overlooked it and put it in there and forgot. I don't know. Then you got a camera. As long as arms across. Then you got the G.I. Joe foot peg stands. See if I can get that in there. Anyways, I did do a gung-ho review. I don't remember if I uploaded it, but I forgot about the stand. These things are really tight. For the people who manufacture the figures, it's kind of strange. Because I got wrestling figure stands from Ringside Collectibles, and they fit all the Hasbro 6-inch figures perfectly. But yeah, they definitely go in there. It's hard to kind of get both of them in there because it's at an angle. But it takes a little bit of work just to get that peg up in there. Alright guys, so that's my review of Lady Jaye from the Classified Series Retro Collection, Walmart exclusive. And overall, I mean, you gotta have her. She's Lady Jaye. I like this costume better because it looks more representative of the original 1985 figure. The hat being loose, it's a little bothers me maybe a little bit just because when you're posing her around, her head seems to pop off and it looks kind of funny because she's bald with that off. But the main thing that confuses me is that little piece that goes with it, and that this strap isn't really big enough to go around like just her shoulder, but like around her. So I think maybe they should have had two of them, or maybe one that's just bigger. I like the fact their backpack looks a lot like the 1985 version. There's a lot of good. There's a little bit of just a little inconsistency here. This really doesn't belong there, but it is just basically a repaint or a recolor. I think this was even in the original, but it was black with black spears. I don't know why. Maybe. I don't think this comes off. Let's see. Oh, you know what? It does. Okay, so now I know where that other part goes. I didn't realize that was more than one piece of plastic. So this does swivel, which obviously means it comes off, which obviously means this one can go on there. the other one. So that's what it's there for. You can switch them around. But then where are you going to put this? I guess she could hold it, or you could maybe put it in her. No, that's too wide. That wouldn't fit in there. That's very skinny right there. Couldn't put it in a knife holster, but all right. Anyway, so we figured that out. Sorry it took me so long to figure that out, but first impression reviews. That's what happens sometimes. If you don't take the picture out, figure out, look at it beforehand, then you don't really know what's going on. I do some figure reviews that way. I've been starting to do them that way, but I've normally pretty much done it like this, where everything's first impression, and that's what people are used to. And sometimes I do these for other companies, not just YouTube. So, again, go pick her up. Thumbs up, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Yo, Joe.